Joining us now is Dr. Chris de Kock, independent crime and violence analyst. A very good afternoon to you, Dr. de Kock. Perhaps we should start with the significance of Witness A's testimony in these proceedings.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the listeners. I think this is very significant. I actually enjoyed the day, basically, because it's another episode in a thing that unfolds in front of us, which clearly indicate organized crime. And Witness A, I missed a little bit this morning. I had to attend the meeting. But the rest of the day I was looking, and Witness A actually gave us a very good look while they were investigating this murder of Armand Swart. I mean, the whole thing that unfolded, how they were invited, even Shabiri, the General Shabiri, Major General Shabiri, which is the head of organized crime, the unit to which they belong at a lower level, how he called and wanted to telephonically get some information, but then they were not giving him the information. That will be Witness B, which we will hear later on, but that he then called them to a meeting and that he can discuss something like envelopes, which is flying around, and we all know what envelope mean for the last 12, 14 years in South Africa. And then after that, a few days later, I mean, they left dissolution. They left this office back to their base because how can the head of organized crime talk about envelopes floating around? And I think they clearly experienced that they were tested. They were tested. Will they say, oh, where's the envelopes? Can we get it now? And then everything will disappear. And then a few days later, they are invited to a party just to go and chill at this boutique hotel and spa, which we have just now see on TV, on your station. Now, this is strange. He was also invited to a second party, but he couldn't attend for some other reason. But at this party, it's not only the few investigators which are there. General Shabiri is also at that meeting. And he was even, it seems, present at the second meeting, which this Witness A could not attend, and also the Provincial Commissioner of Gauteng, as well as the officer in charge of the area where Mr. Swart was murdered. This is really interesting, and I've said the other day on the testimony of the minister, which is still not completed, but and General Shabir, we must go back in the history and ask ourselves the question. You know, at the late 2000s, 2008-9, the late Commissioner Jackie Salebi, who was then the National Commissioner, was found guilty of corrupt relationship with the underworld figures, and he was sent to jail for that. Now, and that was the only one thing that he was found guilty of. Now we must ask the question: all the things that we have heard so far, it seems there's a mixing. I mean, as a senior police officer, you meet with anybody, people where there's question marks about.
It's really interesting because it then begins to paint that picture that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi tried to paint back in during that media briefing that he held in July. And it's significant, I suppose, certainly this is all on the account of Witness A, that you now have the Major General Shabiri in a pickle, the head of organized crime, but you also have the Provincial Commissioner Commissioner of Gauteng, Commissioner Tombeni, also both of them being put on the crime scene.
Yeah, well, not on the crime scene, but at this so-called parties, two parties, after they met with General Sabiri in his office, and he talked about envelopes floating around, and then the first meeting where witness A went to, here is the same general with some other important figures, and then at the second meeting, which he could not attend, but it seems witness, say B, or the other witnesses have gone, part of this team. There they found the provincial commission. This is not the crime scene itself, but there can be question marks about this, especially after the meeting with General Sabiri in his office.
That's where we're going to leave it for now. Dr. de Kock, special thanks to you, independent crime and violence analyst, on the back, of course, of witness A's testimony, which is going to continue to tomorrow.